Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Adam Wolf and welcome back to the channel. We got a gameplay reaction for you today. I know there's a lot of big stink about reaction content these days, but obviously you guys can see the name of the company that has this footage, that owns this footage, or the YouTube channel that owns this, but Game Riot. It's a new channel actually I've never seen before. It's the first time I've actually ever heard of them, but they are like 1.84 million subscribers. So, you know, if you want to support other channels like this, I suggest that you go and check them out. The video will be linked in the description down below. I'm going to start doing this correctly so that way I don't get called out for any kind of garbage. Oh, you didn't reference the YouTube video? You can see it on the screen. You can look it up. It's called Googling or YouTubing in this case. But anyway, so we got a reaction video here for the new Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 gameplay that was released, I think, during Gamescom. So I'm really excited to see this. I've seen other people kind of show footage of it, but I've never watched it all the way through. It's almost 10 minutes long, so it's going to be a lengthy one today, but that's okay, right? It's okay with me. So let's get into it. I'm really excited about this game. Now, this is being done by, not by the original developers. I forgot their names. I'll put it on the screen here. But this is being done by Saber Interactive, and they're using the same engine that they used for World War Z. So there's going to be hundreds, possibly even thousands of enemies on the screen at once. And that engine is unbelievable. It really is, because it can do such a thing. Graphic-wise, of course, I mean, look at this. It looks phenomenal. And it's a great engine. It really is. So I can't wait to see what they do with this game, because the first game is one of my favorite games. And I can't wait until this one comes out. Now, as it is... You guys can't see it because my camera is going to be over it, or I might actually move it. It is a work in progress. I believe they said this isn't anywhere near release yet, so I think they're in either late alpha or early beta stages. So they're going to have a lot of time to iron things out, and hopefully they do, because it has been so long since the last game. I think it was like, last game was in 2013, maybe? Something like that. And it's when the original THQ kind of went under. And THQ Nordic, I believe, picked up the rights to this. I could be wrong. But Saber Interactive is now in charge of developing it. And it looks like they're holding very true to the original, which is awesome to see.
Consider it done.
I believe the original was also on Unreal Engine 3. This one, of course, is a proprietary engine, so it's good to see. And as far as I know, it's only in 1080p. Oh. It's in 4K. Let's boost it, shall we? Let's not skimp on the visuals here.
Leave not one of them standing.
Probably should have checked that before I started it up. But the sound effects already, even though it's early work in progress stuff, the sound effects are just awesome. And it's muddy and wet, and it's just, it looks so good. And I don't even know if they're using ray tracing at all, if ever. I'm not seeing too much in the way of it, but I don't really know what it's supposed to look like in this game. Because those explosions sound really good. Not as loud as you expect them to be, so maybe they'll change that later on. But they do have the punch, which is great. Dude, that is so good. And they've skipped forward here. You can see all of the enemies in the background there just building up. Now, whether or not they'll come over... I think they do come over the wall here. Nope, they get bombed. Okay. I think there might be a part where they just pile up over the wall, over a wall. But That was like an open, like, no man's land sort of area. Now we're going into the forest, and the forest just looks phenomenal. The foliage is just something else, man. But the little bits of detail here and there. This is why I love linear-driven games, because you can, the developers, the artists can really go in and get all the fine details of how they want this level to look, how they want each and every level to look, and it can just be, the focus can be on tightening up the gameplay and focusing in on the story, which is great. And the story of Warhammer 40k is awesome. I just love it. The lore and everything, the world building, all of it is just awesome. Possibly one of the best. No, not even possibly. It is. It's one of the best sci-fi worlds, not just in tabletop, but in video games as well. And I think I heard somewhere that they're looking to maybe make... Oh, we got the chainsaw sword now. They're looking to make a movie, just like they did with D&D. I think Warhammer 40k is in the works. I know Henry Cavill wanted to do Warhammer itself, but it didn't specify whether it was 40k. I don't think. Maybe it did. Or if it was traditional fantasy, but I think it might have been 40k, which is great. I love traditional Warhammer. Don't get me wrong, I love the non-40k. But I do prefer sci-fi over fantasy. Every environment is just looking so good. Also, love the fact that they got the original voice actor back to play Titus. I don't know how I'd feel if it was anybody else.
Never.
We've locked them in. We could do no more.
Open the gate.
Yes, my lord. Open the gates.
I'm pretty sure it's the original voice actor. If it's not, then whoever's doing it is doing a damn good job. But I'm fairly certain they got the original voice actor. It's a very distinct voice, to say the least, for this character.
You will serve your emperor, soldier.
Oh yeah, we got
Do not let them surround
the
you.
big guns here. Now, because look at that, because it's their proprietary engine that they use for World War Z. These Tyranids, I believe is what they're called, will pile up just like the zombies in World War Z to try and get you. And it's just, it's gonna be crazy. This is supposed to be running at 60 FPS, but it is early, so it's gonna be a bit unstable to say the least. But I have faith. I have faith in them because World War Z was actually very good. It's a really good horde shooter.
We not eliminate the remains of the swarm. Osman, they will all get these gates closed. We must focus on taking down the heights.
There is no release date, by the way, just to make sure that you guys know. There's no release date on this. It's still early. Like I said, probably early beta stages, if not late alpha stages. So
You have yet to see the worst of them.
it is not going to have any sort of release date yet. Look at this. Look at this. Okay. So while this looks really good, okay, well, I do enjoy the look of the volumetrics and just the atmosphere of this particular scene, I am noticing that the shadows produced by the fan here are very jagged. You can see it right there. You know, in motion or even not in motion. You can see it right here. Look at that. Oof. Hopefully that gets cleaned up. But when this game comes out, I hope they do have multiple modes, graphics modes that you can choose on console. Because of course I will be playing it on PS5. So hopefully they will allow us to just lock it in at 30 FPS. I don't even care. Me personally, I'm okay with 30 FPS, as some of you guys know if you've been to my streams and you've heard me rant about this. 30 FPS is fine, as long as I can have a good-looking game and it runs stably, if that's a word. I'd rather have stability than not. And a perfect example recently is my playthrough of Immortals of Avium. There is no choice between modes. It's just one mode, performance mode, and it ain't performant. Okay, it runs even sub 30 FPS sometimes, and it's not even like visually appealing. It's got a lot of visual noise, if anything, in the game. But anyway, I digress. So I would love for them to have a graphics mode and a performance mode on PS5, and hopefully we get just that. Also, can I just say the UI? Clean. Health bar, very visible. I like the centering of your guns and grenades or your whatever, and then your, of course, God mode, so to speak. They got this from God of War. So I like the UI. It's very clean, very minimal, which is good. Also, you can play this game with 2 friends. So the fact that it's co-op is also awesome. Very happy about that, because first game, while it was awesome to play, and it is very tailored towards single player, it could have been a co-op, you know, just kind of like a Gears of War sort of thing. Got the bolt rifle, nice. I personally like the old bolt gun myself. Looks we got some sort of like glory kill sort of system. I know we got that right there where you can do a melee takedown. The detail is just unbelievable. It looks so good. And I'm telling you right now, when it was announced, when this game was announced, I was so ecstatic because it's been so long. But I believe it was like 2011 or 2013 that the first one came out. And that was the last time we... Or maybe 2012, somewhere around there. And it was the last time we'd even heard of Space Marine. It was a franchise that absolutely deserves a sequel. And it's deserved one for a long time now. I hate it when channels do this. There's no proper, you know, end screen. They just put this crap over the top of what we're trying to watch, and it's just awful. And a lot of channels do that now. They don't have like an end screen or anything. They could have just done one over here and then the subscribe thing here, and we still would have been able to see the majority of the video. But no, they just overlay as many videos as they can, and it's just it pisses me off. But anyway, so that was Warhammer Space Marine 2. I am so excited for this one. Like I said, when they announced it, I was over the moon because the first game is so much fun. It's so good, and it just oozes Warhammer 40k lore. It's so good, and it never should have dropped off the face of the planet. I'm glad it hasn't, because I think it's worth playing. Now, whether or not you have to play the first one in order to enjoy the second one, I don't know. I'm not entirely... I don't know how far in the future this game takes, or takes place, I should say, because in the first game you're facing orcs, and this one you're facing this Tyranids thing, which is basically very similar to the Zerg from StarCraft. They're just like of a hive mind sort of thing, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not orcs are even involved at any point, because orcs are traditionally the enemy of the Space Marines, and even in the traditional Warhammer fantasy setting. So it'll be interesting to find out if they actually talk about the Tyranids, because I'm not entirely sure if they are common to the Warhammer lore. I could be wrong. I'm not that deep into Warhammer lore. It's only been like the last maybe 5 years or so that I've really gotten into Warhammer. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure if the Tyranids are common, but it's a cool idea because their system can handle it, and I can't wait to see what they do with this game. Just, it looks gorgeous. I love the look of it. But the gameplay, of course, looks awesome. I mean, bloody, brutal, just the way you want it to be. You know, Space Marines are supposed to be top tier soldiers, and to be able to just rip heads apart is just awesome. But that was the gameplay that came out of Gamescom this year for Warhammer Space Marine 2. And I can't wait for it. Again, no release date, but I assume it's going to come out at least within the next year. And, of course, no doubt it's definitely going to be on PS5 and Xbox Series consoles along with PC. I don't know if they'll be able to put it out on the PS4. World War Z was able to be on PS4 and Xbox One, so maybe. But this looks a little too far-fetched for the last generation consoles, and I kind of hope that they kind of just don't. PS4 and Xbox One are done. Let's move on with PS5 and Xbox Series consoles to kind of push this thing forward. But those are my thoughts on the gameplay. I'm super excited, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you excited for the next Space Marine 2? Have you been waiting as long as I have and many of us have for this sequel? And what do you expect to see in the next year or so? Are we going to see a release date anytime soon, or do you think they'll take their time? And quite frankly, I hope they take their time with it. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and please join me again in the next reaction video where we'll take a look at another game that is in the works or is about to be released or whatever, and give you my thoughts on it. But until then, I'm Adam Wolf. This is Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 gameplay, and I'll see you guys later.